The Dallas Cowboys are standing at a crossroads, and the decisions they make this offseason could define the next chapter of their franchise. The question everyone's asking is simple: what happens with George Pickens? With a competent front office, this would be an easy move. You lock up your young star, secure the chemistry, and move forward. But with the way things have gone lately, fans aren't so confident. If this front office continues dragging its feet, Pickens could be on his way out, leaving the Cowboys with nothing more than a third-round compensatory pick. The worst-case scenario? They slap the franchise tag on him again, turning another offseason into a drawn-out drama. Remember, they already freed up a tag spot by extending Darren Bland early, and moving Micah Parsons opened another window. The opportunity is there, but will they actually take it? Just pay the man and stop letting these situations turn messy every single August. By the way, if you love keeping up with breaking NFL stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this video with your friends. And of course, tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's talk defense, because some fans believe that the return of players like DeMarvion Overshown and Motzie Smith could fix everything. But let's be honest, that's a lot to ask. You can't expect two guys coming off injuries or long absences to suddenly solve every issue on this defense. That's just not realistic. Jerry Jones might try to spin it differently, saying, "Hey, we've got our safeties back, we've added some new pieces, we've improved the line." That's classic Jerry math: a little optimism, a little PR, and a whole lot of question marks. Still, don't rule out the chance of a trade. The Cowboys could pull something unexpected before the deadline. Whether it's a bold overpay or a smart, balanced move remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this team can't stay quiet forever. So what do you think, Cowboys fans? Will they make a move or stand pat? Drop a Y for yes or N for no in the comments. Let's see where the fanbase really stands. There's a lot of debate right now about where the Cowboys should focus their draft capital, and one name that keeps coming up is R.L. Some scouts believe his true potential might actually be at edge rusher, not linebacker. Honestly, that might be his best spot in the NFL. When you look at this roster, the linebacker depth isn't terrible, but it's not great either. Grabbing one early and another in the mid to late rounds could be a smart strategy, solid value without overspending. If someone like LT Overton stays healthy, that changes the equation. You don't want to burn two top 50 picks on similar positions, but double dipping between the edge and linebacker spots? That's something I'd fully support. And let's be real, fans are frustrated. Some of them are joking, trade 4 first-rounders for new ownership. If only it were that simple, right? Everyone knows how deep the frustration runs, and at this point, fans just want a direction, a real vision for the future. Then comes the next big question: who's going to lead this defense moving forward? I've seen some wild fan suggestions: Nick Saban, John Gruden, even Rex Ryan. Let's break that down for a second. Nick Saban? Legendary, but he's not leaving retirement for a defensive coordinator role. John Gruden? He's an offensive coach, so that's off the table. And Rex Ryan, look, I get it, he's a big name, he's on TV, he's loud, he's entertaining. But let's be honest, it's been almost a decade since he last coached in the NFL. His last top 10 scoring defense was in 2010. The game has evolved, and he hasn't been part of it for a long time. If the Cowboys are serious about turning this defense into something elite, they can't just chase familiar names. They need a real coach, someone modern, sharp, and fully invested in today's NFL. Someone who understands how to adjust on the fly, not someone living off reputation. Because this team doesn't just need another coach, it needs a leader. Someone who can unite the locker room, reignite the defense, and finally bring consistency to a franchise that's been chasing it for too long. When it comes to trades, the real question isn't just, who can the Cowboys get? It's, what are they willing to give up? That's where things get complicated. There's always a balance between short-term impact and long-term value. Some players out there are absolutely worth parting with a mid-round pick. Others? Not so much. You can't just throw away draft capital unless you're sure you're getting a true difference maker in return. Take a situation like this: if you could somehow flip a fourth-round pick and a depth player like Sam Williams for someone like Jermaine Johnson, that's a deal you'd at least consider. The problem is, those kinds of moves rarely happen. Most teams aren't letting young, ascending talent walk unless they're getting something major back. And that brings us to another issue: the Cowboys' draft record in recent years. It's been hit or miss. Some picks look like steals, others leave you wondering what the scouting department saw. A lot of that inconsistency might come from the constant turnover at defensive coordinator, new systems, new philosophies, new fits. That kind of instability hurts player development more than fans realize. Now, looking at this defense as it stands, who truly deserves a guaranteed spot moving forward? Not many. Sure, there are young players on rookie deals you'll probably keep, but in terms of core, untouchable talent? That list is short. Darren Bland is absolutely one of them. He's become a cornerstone in the secondary. Osa Odigizua stays by default. He's solid, even if he hasn't completely broken out yet. Ezra Ullman deserves recognition too. He's one of the few consistent performers. Beyond that, there are promising names like Shamar James and Maurice Lafu, but they still have something to prove before they're called franchise pillars. This is where Dallas finds itself stuck, a defense with flashes of brilliance but no clear foundation. When you look across the league, the great units have identity. Baltimore. San Francisco. Even Detroit's defense under Aaron Glenn, they know who they are. The Cowboys? They're still figuring that out. And as for Roquan Smith, yeah, people wonder why his name isn't floating around in trade rumors anymore. The truth is simple: he's not going anywhere. He's too valuable, too respected, and still playing at a high level. Sometimes the biggest names fans talk about are never really available, they just sound exciting on paper. Dallas needs to stop chasing what-ifs and start building something real, consistent, tough, and united. Because until that happens, every offseason is just going to feel like the same story, told in a slightly different way. The Cowboys season keeps everyone guessing, and by the time this video goes up, maybe they've even pulled off a win over Miami on Thursday Night Football. But let's be real, regardless of what happens, there are bigger questions hanging over this team. Trade rumors are swirling, but mid-season deals in the NFL are rare. The smart move might be to wait until the off-season, when the market opens up and the front office can actually plan with clarity instead of desperation. Still, I want to hear from you. Which player would you want the Cowboys to trade for if you could make one move right now? Drop your picks down in the comments. Now, let's talk about the defensive future, because that might be the biggest issue looming over Dallas. Fans are already wondering if Mike Zimmer or even Matt Eberflus will still be around next year. If not, who should be the next defensive coordinator? Here's the thing: the Cowboys don't need another recycled hire. They need to do something they rarely do: run a real coaching search. Don't just grab the familiar name or the comfortable choice. Find someone modern. Someone hungry. Someone who actually fits today's NFL. If Aaron Glenn somehow becomes available, he's absolutely worth a look. He loves to play aggressive, man-to-man football. Blitz-heavy, physical, fearless, that's his style. Sure, his stint as a head coach didn't work out, but as a defensive coordinator, he knows how to get the most out of his guys. But again, only if the opportunity's there. The Cowboys need to think bigger than just what's familiar. Now, scheme-wise, this defense still leans toward a 4-3 base setup, even when it looks like a 3-4 on paper. They rotate linebackers down, shift alignments, but it's mostly window dressing. The problem? There's not enough disguise in their coverage. According to advanced tracking, Dallas ranks near the bottom of the league in pre-snap disguise looks. That's a major issue in today's NFL. Because when you're facing elite quarterbacks, guys who can diagnose coverages instantly, showing them exactly what you're doing before the snap is football suicide. You can't survive that way. If you're not getting pressure up front, and the QB already knows your coverage before the ball's even snapped, the result is predictable: chunk plays, long drives, and tired defenders. The Cowboys have the talent. They have the speed. But until they learn how to disguise, adapt, and confuse opposing quarterbacks, this defense will always be reactive instead of dominant. And as for trade ideas like Nick Herbig? Honestly, I wouldn't hate it. He's young, fast, and plays with real energy. Moves like that are exactly what this defense needs: smart, upside-driven additions instead of patchwork fixes. If Dallas wants to become elite again, it's going to take more than just names and hype, it's going to take vision. Real adjustments. Real leadership. Real football decisions. When it comes to trade rumors, one name that keeps coming up is Nick Herbig, but honestly, I'd be surprised if Pittsburgh moved him. They like him a lot, and while he might not be starting every snap, he's still an important piece for a team chasing a playoff spot. The Steelers are just one injury away from needing him in a major role, so trading him mid-season doesn't make much sense. That brings us back to the Cowboys, and the real question: what's your confidence level in this front office when it comes to making trades? Be honest, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much faith do you have that they'll actually pull off the right move? Drop your number down in the comments. Because here's what's going on behind the scenes: Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones don't always see eye to eye. Jerry's the gambler, he wants the splash move, the big-time, headline-grabbing trade for a star player. Stephen, on the other hand, is cautious. He's thinking about the cap, the future, the assets. One wants fireworks, the other wants control. And that internal tug-of-war has defined this franchise for years. Fans see it every time the trade deadline rolls around: Jerry's ready to deal, Stephen's pumping the brakes. There were even whispers that Stephen was in favor of moving Micah Parsons before Jerry stepped in and shut it down. That says a lot about the difference in their approaches. Then there's John Ridgway, remember him? The former Cowboy who's bounced around since leaving Dallas, now with the Saints. A lot of fans still bring up his name, wondering if he could be brought back. But honestly, he's been a journeyman at best. Energy guy, sure, but not someone who's made a lasting impact anywhere he's gone. Now, when it comes to Maxx Crosby, let's be real, he's one of the best defensive players in the league. Every fan dreams about adding him to the Cowboys' pass rush, but the reality is brutal: the Raiders aren't trading him. Period. It would take multiple first-round picks, maybe even more, to make that conversation happen. He doesn't want to leave Vegas, and the organization doesn't want to move him. As for Osa Odigizua, he's been dealing with tougher assignments this season. His double-team rate has skyrocketed, and naturally, that's affected his numbers. You can see how much easier life was when Micah Parsons demanded constant attention. Now, without that same fear factor up front, Osa's getting swallowed up more often. The effort's still there, but the situation's changed dramatically. If the Cowboys really want to compete with the top-tier teams, San Francisco, Baltimore, Kansas City, they need to stop thinking about bold moves and actually make them. Enough playing it safe. Enough letting opportunity slip by. The window to win is open, but it won't stay open forever. The time for hesitation is over. It's time to act like contenders.